commands, because this is what Jesus did. He was listening to his higher authority, that all the instructions he was given, all the instructions, all the orders he was given, he did to the latter. There is not one that he brought any amendment. He never argued against the instructions of the higher authority. And when his disciples were taking him to do something that was not within his jurisdiction and power, he would be able to tell them, like you heard him telling the two guys, that you see what? Choosing or deciding who to sit on my right hand and my left hand is not within my limit. That one is for the one higher than me. Because for me, I only do what I have been given to do. So Jesus was obedient to his father. Jesus listened to his dad. And so when his dad sent him, he did barely everything from A to Z until he finished and told the father that, Father, in John chapter 17, nimemaliza kazi, sasa ndio mimi hapa, ninaondoka kuja kwako, ninawaacha hapa. Make them also to follow my orders and my instructions like I did to you, and now I have qualified that I'm now just about to come. And I'm not praying for them alone, but I'm praying for every other person who will come in, whom they will lead. So I am praying for my disciples, and I'm also praying for those that will come into the church because of this word. The one among them that Jesus was praying for was John Mark, who is today the author of our text that we are reading from. John Mark, by the time Jesus was praying, wasn't among the 12. He was just somebody who followed the leading of Peter and the likes. And so John Mark came, but when he came, he had a lot of passion, he had a lot of commitment, he had a lot of love to get the history about Jesus. And so he comes out because of the notes and stories that he was getting from those who were ahead of him, his leaders in the word. And so Mark came out with the production of the book of Mark, which we are now reading now. And so Jesus tells them in verse 42, which we have read now. He calls them, and then he talks to them. It is from there that we pick that when Jesus talks to them, when you are being addressed, you should listen. You should hear. And after hearing, you do what you have been told. So Jesus tells them, look here guys, you see, I want you to see a difference between leaders of this world and you. Between those in authority of this world and you. And that is why in verse 43, as we looked at yesterday, he was saying that, but not so with you. Because there should be a difference. For us here, the person that we listen to first is God the Father. And the other person that we need to listen to are our subjects. So when we lead, we also need to listen to our subjects. What are their issues? You will realize that this church of God, where I am, it is a church that powers are rested upon the congregation. Even though nowadays we, in quotes, have turned the powers of the congregation to just be powers in quotes, while those powers are not yet there. So we are also telling them that you guys who are turning the powers of the congregation to be yours in quotes, and you take advantage of their ignorance of the church manual, you should not behave like that. Let them decide. Those days when the lay representatives were given, hey, you guys identify who is going to be your lay representative. Nowadays I just hear people say someone, I say, Elder Ben Onyango is the one who is very friendly to me. Let us identify him. So you are told, Ben Onyango is your lay representative. Nonsense. That is not in this church. That is not according to God. Because you want people who are your sycophants, people who are your friends, so that when you do wrong things in the church, they will just say, all in favor say aye, aye. Oppose say nay, it is carried. Jesus is telling them, Jesus is telling us that it should not be so with you, because the power is with the congregation. Hallelujah. You don't want a leader that identifies. When it is church election, for example, in your local church, my work as the chairperson of the committee is only to give you the qualifications of every department. But I cannot tell you that, no, in that area, I want Dr. Serem. It is not so with you. So Jesus is saying, listen, guys, there should be a difference between the way you conduct yourselves in this church in terms of leading people to God with the way people are led outside there. Because outside there, those in authority would want to exert powers so that they take advantage and collect everything. Today, as I'm preaching in Harmony Kakamega, you are told and advised that stop using USSD. Ama nyinyi hamjaambiwa? Hamjaambiwa nyinyi sasa muache USSD. Hamjaambiwa kwamba USSD full stop. Use pay bill or cash or bank direct. Mmeambiwa? Hiyo CFMS ya USSD. Yenye imebaki ni CFMS ya receipting peke yake. Lakini you are advised when you are paying your offering, don't use USSD. Si nyinyi mnaelewa hiyo USSD? Stars do blah blah what? The reason is, I don't tell you because I still want to eat in this church. Because some people have been sent here. What am I saying? People have turned the church leadership into taking advantage of